Hey everyone, and welcome back. I'm really fascinated by all this buzz about AI, especially how it's changing things in like practically every field.
It really is.
And one thing I've been thinking about lately is, well, can AI actually make us better at managing money?
Oh, yeah.
Like, can it beat humans? I mean, we've seen what it can do with chess and Go, even protein folding. So is finance next.
It's a great question. And there's this really interesting piece we're diving into today from The Conversation UK.
Right.
Some researchers at Oxford Brookes University, they kind of get right into this debate about AI and money.
Yeah, and to help us break it all down, we have our expert on all things AI and finance.
Well, thanks. It's definitely a hot topic right now, and there are good reasons for that. I mean, AI is already making big changes in finance.
Yeah, and it's not like that robots taking over Wall Street thing that we see in movies.
Right, exactly. Not quite yet.
I mean, like you hear these CEOs talking about how their banks are basically tech companies that, oh yeah, they happen to also have a banking license.
Exactly. It's funny to hear them say that,
Right.
but it is true. And then there's all these fintech startups popping up trying to kind of like shake up the whole industry.
Oh, totally.
So AI is being used for, well, all sorts of things already. Cybersecurity, anti-money laundering, even like customer service.
Right.
So AI is having an impact, that's for sure. The big question is how that impact is going to play out in the long run.
And that takes us back to our big question, right?
Yeah.
If AI is already a part of finance, like, why hasn't it just taken over, like become the ultimate money manager?
Yeah.
On the surface, it just makes sense. The financial markets have tons of data. The goals are really clear, like making a profit, and you can execute trades like crazy fast.
Yeah.
AI should be like ruling the market.
You would think so. And that's what makes this whole debate so interesting.
Yeah.
There was this study in the International Journal of Data Science and Analytics, and they were really digging into this.
Oh, well.
Can AI actually outperform human investors? And what they found is, well, it's just not as simple as like feeding a bunch of data into some algorithm and then just watching the money pile up.
Okay, so what's the missing piece? Why isn't AI, the next Warren Buffett?
Right. Well, one of the biggest things is that the markets aren't just driven by, numbers.
Of course, yeah.
They're driven by people.
Oh, totally. Yeah, that's right.
And we can be pretty unpredictable. All those emotions like fear and greed, they can totally send the market soaring or crashing. And even the most sophisticated AI can struggle to like really anticipate that kind of stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've all seen it, right? Like one tweet or one crazy news headline,
Yeah.
and suddenly everyone's freaking out and the market's going haywire.
Exactly. And it's not just about reacting to these events either. Humans, we bring, our experience to the table, our intuition, and we understand like those bigger trends that are happening. We can factor in stuff like geopolitical risks or changes in how people are spending their money, things that AI might not fully grasp without having that same, depth of context.
So it sounds like it's not a simple AI versus humans situation.
No.
It's more like they have to kind of work together.
That's a great way to put it. It's not about one replacing the other. It's about how they can both kind of work together in these, super complex financial landscapes.
Right.
Just imagine AI could be like sifting through mountains of data, and it could spot potential opportunities or even like risks that a human trader might completely miss.
Right.
But then humans, we could be providing that, strategic oversight, that risk management and bringing all our experience to the table.
That's like the ultimate financial dream team.
Right. And that's where things start to get really exciting. This collaboration, it could lead to totally new ways of managing money. AI and humans, they could work together and maybe achieve even better outcomes than either could on their own.
So less of a battle for supremacy.
Yeah.
And more like, a really awesome partnership.
Yeah.
Okay, but then that makes me wonder, if AI is so good at patterns, could it help us humans be better at investing?
Uh-huh.
By recognizing our own biases.
Yeah.
Because we all have them, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's a great question. And researchers are actually starting to look into this.
Wow.
Could AI help us realize when we're making decisions, from a place of like fear or greed? Rather than, logic and data,
Yeah.
could it be like a bias buster to help us make more, rational financial choices?
That would be a total game changer. But, okay, before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's just kind of go back to what we've learned so far. AI in finance. It's more complicated than just robots taking over.
Absolutely. It's a complicated world with, a lot of potential. but there are also some big challenges. And it's super important to remember as we keep exploring this, AI, it's a tool.
Yeah, that's right.
Like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. The key is going to be, how do we as a society choose to develop it? How are we going to use it and, well, even regulate these technologies? It comes down to responsible innovation, making sure that we're using AI to actually make better financial decisions, not just, exploit weaknesses or create even more risks.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of responsible innovation, you were saying earlier that AI could help us humans be better investors.
Right.
By helping us deal with all our biases.
Yeah.
I'd love to dig into that a bit more.
Okay.
How could AI actually help us make, smarter, more rational financial decisions?
Well, think about all those common biases that trip us up all the time.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like confirmation bias, where we kind of look for information that just backs up what we already believe, even if it's not really accurate or objective.
Right.
Or like loss aversion, where losing money hurts way more than gaining the same amount feels good. And those biases, well, they can push us to make these impulsive decisions that aren't really good for us in the long run.
It's so true, like holding on to a losing stock for way too long because we just can't admit we were wrong.
Exactly.
Or jumping on some hot new investment trend without actually doing any research. We've all been there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's where AI could, step in.
Yeah.
Be like an impartial observer. Just imagine an AI that's tracking your investments, right? Analyzing all your decisions. And then it gently kind of nudges you when it sees patterns that suggest you might be falling into one of these bias traps.
So it's like having a personal AI advisor who's not afraid to tell you you're messing up.
Exactly.
But in a nice way.
Yeah, in a helpful way. It could give you these personalized insights based on, your own behavior. It could be like, hey, looking at your trading history, it seems like you tend to sell stocks really quickly after a small dip. Let's look at the bigger picture here and see if that's really the best strategy.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's almost like AI could make us more self-aware, as investors, helping us see our blind spots so we can make better decisions.
Okay.
Okay, but I have to ask, isn't there a downside to this? What if AI gets so good at, understanding our biases and predicting our behavior that it starts to manipulate us?
That is a really, really important question, and we can't ignore it. If AI can be used to nudge us towards good decisions, well, it could also be used to exploit us, for someone else's benefit. Think about targeted advertising.
Oh, yeah.
That knows exactly how to push your buttons to make you buy things you don't need or invest in risky stuff.
Yeah, that is a bit scary. So how do we deal with that? How do we make sure that AI in finance is being used ethically, so it helps people and not just corporations?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's going to take, a multi-pronged approach.
Right.
We need some really clear rules and guidelines to govern how AI is developed and used in finance. We need companies to be upfront about how their algorithms actually work and what data they're using. And we need to, give people the knowledge and the tools so they can understand how AI is affecting their finances so they can make good choices.
It sounds like we need to totally rethink how we see AI, right?
Yes.
It's not just about the technology. It's about the values that are baked into it.
Exactly. We need to be having these conversations now before it's too late,
This whole conversation has been so thought-provoking.
Yeah.
It feels like we're just starting to understand all the possibilities and also the challenges that AI brings to finance.
It's such a rapidly changing field. What's cutting edge today? It could be obsolete tomorrow.
Totally. So zooming out a bit, what's the big takeaway for everyone listening? What should they be thinking about when it comes to AI in their own lives?
The biggest thing I think is that AI, it's not a magic solution to everything.
Right.
It's powerful, but it's a tool, right?
Yeah.
And like any tool, it can be used well or badly. It really depends on us as individuals and as a society to make sure that AI is being developed and used in a way that actually benefits people, not exploits them.
It really does come back to us, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Even with all the algorithms and all that data, it's our choices, our values. That's what will shape how this all plays out.
You're absolutely right. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement, all the possibilities.
Yeah.
But we can't forget about the ethics of it all.
Exactly. And that's where our listeners come in.
Right.
We can't just sit back and watch this happen.
We got to be a part of it.
Yeah, we need to be active in this conversation.
Absolutely. This isn't just an issue for the tech people or the government. It affects everybody. The future of finance, it's being shaped right now. and we're all a part of it.
So what can our listeners actually do? What are some things they can do to be more informed and really engage with this whole AI and finance thing?
Well, first off, learn as much as you can. Knowledge is power, right? There's so much out there. Articles, books, even other podcasts that go deep into this.
Yeah.
Follow some of the experts on social media, check out webinars. There are even online forums for this stuff. The more you know, the better decisions you can make.
Exactly.
And you can be a better advocate for, responsible AI.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to ask questions.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you're working with a financial advisor, ask them how they're using AI.
Yeah.
What kind of data they're collecting,
Yeah.
how they're protecting your privacy. And if you're thinking about using one of those robo-advisors or like an AI investing platform, do your research. Read all the fine print.
Right.
Make sure you understand what the risks are, but also the benefits.
Those are great points. And remember, things are changing all the time.
Yeah.
What seems cutting edge right now might be, old news in a couple of years. So just stay curious, keep learning, and be ready to adapt as the technology keeps, doing its thing.
This has been amazing. Such a great conversation.
I agree.
I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of all this,
We really have. It's a huge topic.
But hopefully this has given everyone listening, like a good starting point to keep exploring on their own.
I hope so, too.
And to everyone listening, remember, the future of finance, not set in stone.
Yeah.
It's happening right now.
Right.
And we all have a role to play in making sure it's, a responsible future.
Nicely put. Stay curious, keep learning, and be a part of this whole AI revolution.
And that's it for today. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into AI and finance. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those questions coming.